This week on Arizona Illustrated, an important milestone in the countdown to the launch of OSIRIS-REx, an ancient watering practice renewed, on the field with the Laxcats, and Kenny Scharf transforms cars into art. Welcome to Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. The spacecraft that will fly more than 100 million miles to an asteroid, collect a sample, and return it to Earth began its journey to space when it traveled to Florida's Kennedy Space Center from Denver last May. The University of Arizona will operate the mission, dubbed OSIRIS-REx, once it leaves Earth's atmosphere in September. We take a look at this first step.
The NASA mission to touch an asteroid and bring a sample back to Earth in 2023, called OSIRIS-REx, is 1,600 miles and one very important step closer to its target, named Bennu.
We shipped OSIRIS-REx from Denver, Colorado to Kennedy Space Center and got it into the handling facility and are going through the final phases of preparation for launch. Once we're in Florida, our prime objectives are to do final characterization tests like the center of balance on the spacecraft, making sure the solar arrays deploy, and then a few last-minute checkouts, and we'll fuel it up and we'll encapsulate it in the fairing or the nose cone of the rocket and lift it on top of the second stage and get ready to launch.
After its fiery departure this fall, the spacecraft will travel for 2 years before it arrives at its destination. The asteroid, roughly a quarter mile in diameter, is thought to be over 4.5 billion years old.
OSIRIS-REx actually has 5 objectives. One, of course, is sample return. That's the primary objective or the driving objective for the mission. But we're very interested in this asteroid. We're interested in its history, where it came from, and we're also interested in where it's going. In particular, is it coming to the Earth someday in a catastrophic fashion? So that's an impact hazard assessment. We're going to be investigating that by tracking the orbit of the asteroid very precisely and understanding all of the forces that influence its orbit.
To succeed in its primary mission, returning 2 ounces of material from the surface, OSIRIS-REx is relying on lessons from previous sample return missions. Even 5 years ago, just weeks after the mission began, it was clear that one of the biggest hurdles was more than just a safe sample return. It's just as critical not to take along anything extra from Earth.
Greatest challenges are keeping the sample pristine. That's going to be a real challenge to make sure that any organic material that we detect from that asteroid was not in fact introduced by anybody along the chain of building the flight system, collecting the sample, and bringing it back to Earth. You know, we're spending a lot of money to get a sample of an asteroid, and we want to get the maximum science value from that material. OSIRIS-REx has done a great job in characterizing the contamination and controlling the contamination for the return sample. So we've had an outstanding interaction between our scientists and our engineers, and we've done a good job of communicating to the people building the spacecraft that it's really important to keep these surfaces clean. So even when we're transporting to Florida, we're in a clean environment because we have a completely sealed shipping container and we keep it under a purge. So we have clean gas flowing across the spacecraft the entire time that we're in the air. So we are not going to be outside of a clean environment even during transport down to Kennedy Space Center.
5, 4, 3, we have ignition. 2, 1, 0.
The spacecraft will launch atop an Atlas V rocket supplied by United Launch Alliance using Russian-made RD-180 engines. These engines have been a reliable workhorse on NASA missions for 16 years. However, the RD-180 was grounded this spring because of a malfunction on its most recent mission.
We're certainly tracking the progress of the RD-180 main engines for the Atlas V. We do know there was a problem with the control valves on the launch for the last space station resupply mission. I'm very confident in the Atlas V team. They are very diligent in going through all of the components of that system, and they believe they've identified the root cause of that anomaly. We also have 2 launches on the schedule in front of us, so we'll be able to see the Atlas V perform a couple more times before we have to get into that ride. It's important to note that we are fixed at September 8th as our launch date, and the team at ULA is doing everything they can to make sure we hit that date.
The 3 telescopes that are the eyes of the mission were developed and built at the University of Arizona. That's just one of the many connections between the U of A and the OSIRIS-REx mission, which lasts another 7 years after launch.
The campus of the University of Arizona will be the Center for Science Operations. We are in the middle of remodeling our facility to handle the full science team and science operations team while they're here, and it's going to be a really exciting time for our city. Students have been a major part of our team here at the University of Arizona, and that will continue into our operations phase. We'll have a lot of students that are working on the program, and we're going to have a lot of activity for them. We do need help with our downlink especially, and that's a great task for students to train on. I have seen OSIRIS-REx through the entire assembly process, from the forging of the first structural components all the way through the final assembly. I've been intimately involved. It met all of my expectations and more. It is an amazing machine, and it's really an honor to be part of a program like this. Launch is September 8th, 2016 at 7:05 p.m. Eastern.
The issue that had the OSIRIS-REx team worried seems to be corrected. On June 24th, a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket using the same RD-180 engines that will carry OSIRIS-REx into space in September completed a successful launch of a Navy satellite. Now be sure to watch the half-hour special presentation of Arizona Illustrated, OSIRIS-REx Countdown to Launch, premiering Sunday, September 4th at 6:30 p.m. on PBS 6. Using water wisely is a necessity in the Sonoran Desert. For southern Arizona gardeners looking for new ways to efficiently provide water to growing plants, it's a perpetual quest. Sometimes you find the future by looking into the past.
The Sonoran Desert is considered to be the greenest of the arid regions in the world, lush and colorful despite the sun's intensity and lack of water. Increase this precious resource and the list of plants you can grow is endless. You'll find examples at the home of David Mount and Jennifer Hall on Tucson's north side. What began as a backyard hobby decades ago is flourishing, just like their showy or tasty specimens. The retired University of Arizona scientists and nature lovers are cultivating much of the plant-based diet they consume.
I'd like to think that people can, if they really want to make a difference, one of the things they can do is grow their own food.
As much as they like the food, Mount and Hall are also cognizant of the water it takes to grow it. So they're excited about an ancient technique that is making a comeback. Oh yes, terracotta clay pots connected to a water reservoir and buried in the ground can deliver water directly and efficiently to the plant's roots. More efficiently, in fact, than the preferred method of many small and large-scale gardening operations, drip irrigation.
I expect these to use about somewhere between 7 and 10 times less water than traditional drip systems.
That's right, a fraction of the water compared to drip irrigation, which already saves more than watering by hand or flood irrigation.
We really were quite distressed that we were starting to use more and more water. And so how can you grow food and still cut down on your water? And so this is a great way to do it, and we're making a lot of progress. I'm feeling very good about that.
David Mount makes some of his own oyas, but he also bought a batch from a Tucson business that focuses on the slow seeping systems for avid gardeners. Cutting Edge Ceramics was established in 2009. The company used to concentrate on decorations and souvenirs, but has evolved over the years. And now, clay oyas for saving water make up the bulk of the business. Co-owner J.C. Matthews likes to garden, and he also wanted to conserve water, so he looked into the prehistoric oya system for modern uses.
At first, we had a lot of skeptics that are now actually becoming lovers of the product, which is good. You know, because I really didn't want to try to compete with something that was made 4,000 years old. I really just wanted to improve on it.
There are large pots you can fill up manually, but these smaller varieties, the oya balls, are the most popular. They take up less space in the soil and receive their water from nearby reservoirs that provide the proper low water pressure. They do not plug into automatic drip irrigation systems because of the unpredictable pressure or intermittent water supply.
They're gravity fed through a tube, and they fill up with water and they slowly seep into the soil. And the soil moisture levels stay the same all the time, so the plant's never stressed. I converted my entire garden to these, cut my water bill in half. And then I started sharing them with people for them to try. And I thought, you know what, I should probably get a patent on this. So right now, that patent process is in the works.
There are thousands of oya balls in the ground now, including at Las Milpitas, the Cottonwood Community Farm, which is operated by the Community Food Bank of Southern Arizona.
We found that not only has the water usage decreased, the production has increased. So what we're finding is that at the end of the season, when we dig these plants up, there's a big mat of roots just kind of wrapped around that oya. I think it's important. I think the more water becomes an issue in the desert and in the country in general, we're going to need to look towards systems that are even more efficient than drip irrigation.
For David Mount and Jennifer Hall, the clay pots are part of a much broader plan to reduce their impact on the environment. One of their 2 cars is electric.
So I love not having to go to a gas station. It's really great. But also, the energy is not quite free, but much less cost than buying gasoline. And there are no emissions from it. So it's a very green source for energy.
And they compost what they can to nourish their garden. And they've installed solar panels on the roof, which also serves as a conduit for rainwater, which they can use for their water oyas and other irrigation projects.
Well, what's behind me here is a new rainwater tank, collection tank, that we just installed. And it holds over 5,000 gallons of rainwater, and that will drain about half of the roof.
Both are master gardeners from the University of Arizona's Pima County Cooperative Extension, where they address important topics such as growing food in our arid region. The subject of water is always connected, a key component of the environment.
And what do you call them again? Ajos?
Oyas, O-L-L-A-S.
Oyas.
I mean, the Mexicans have used them forever.
Yeah.
The difference is the way they make these is they come with a cap.
Yeah.
So you take that off and you have to fill them manually,
Yeah.
you know, every day or so.
It is important to us because David and I are both scientists and we see the changes that are happening on our planet. I think everybody has to figure out what little part they can do. And when you look at the bigger problem, it can get pretty discouraging. But by seeing what we can do in our way, that we feel we're making a contribution.
Well, I like challenges and I like solving problems. That's me. And that's, you know, this is the big one for me right now, is to know how to do these things and do them successfully. And I think we're succeeding largely.
Lacrosse is one of the oldest team sports in North America, originally played by Native American tribes of the Northeast. According to a recent report from the NCAA, it is now our nation's fastest growing collegiate sport, shaking its reputation as an exclusive, preppy Northeastern game. Lacrosse is firmly planted here in the West, with Denver University winning the Division I national title in 2015. The University of Arizona men's lacrosse team was founded in 1961. This year, they made it to the MCLA National Tournament for the first time since 2007. Here are the Laxcats.
Hey, all my polls, make sure you guys gain a few runs, trying to go through a double. Run through a double, let's go.
Having 4 or 5 days off, I think anybody will get a little sloppy or a little rusty, and it was our job today to make sure that that doesn't happen in a couple days when our game comes.
Let's keep it up.
My name is Derek Pedrick. I'm the head men's lacrosse coach at the University of Arizona. This is my 3rd year. I just enjoy the camaraderie of it, trials and tribulations.
New group, let's go.
We want to create a positive, hard-working environment where everyone puts the team first and ultimately succeed that way. Myself, coach and staff, we all got to continue to work better to reach our common goal.
Hey, you two, you're all sticks. All you got to do is break down and then V-hold them. 20 push-ups.
I have relatives, friends, everyone asking, what's lacrosse? I was a football player, and that's all we did was hit people. We thought that was lacrosse. Then I came here and I got coached down. I realized that's not it. That's not just hitting people. And so once I finally got that lacrosse mentality of just trying to stop the ball, I became way better. My name is Nolan Baker. I'm the close defender for the lacrosse team. I'm number 2. I work on my footwork a lot. So whatever they're doing, they're dancing, I'm moving with them. I'm pushing them away. I'm keeping them behind. I like to pretend my mom's in the crease and I protect her at all times. So anyone who gets close to there, knock them around a little bit.
His play is good. It's free-flowing, smart, consistent, very athletic, usually shuts down the best offensive player on the other team. It's nice to have him on our back line. Our sport ultimately comes down to the stick, and if you don't have a good stick, it's hard to succeed in this sport.
Good, now make a pass now.
You need to have a good stick, and you need to have a good mind.
Good.
Someone who can get up and down the field, someone who likes to mix it up, or get their hands dirty when they have to, but also someone who's smart.
Old school GB drill. Need to do the little things. Say ball release and get a headman pass to the guy in front of you. Good, ball release, make a pass now, make a pass. Get your hands free, be cut to get open. Good, thank you, way to get active, I like that. What do? We pick up a GB. Ball release, why don't we say it? It's to help you. It's gonna win us games. Everybody, 30 push-ups. Don't be mad at your teammates for not saying ball release. Because I don't know about you, but the UNLV game, we didn't pick up any GBs. And that's on us as a coaching staff because we're not stressing it. We'll make sure we do going forward. Good, jam them. Push them out, double it, good.
We want to be friendly with the guys, but there's also a time where, hey, we need to put our foot down, we need to hold these guys accountable, teach them lessons, and, grind it out.
Collapse, good, find it now, find it.
If we continue to bond, come together as a team, I think we're going to put ourselves in a position to win these last 3 or 4 games.
Let's do it right, man. 2 minutes left, let's go.
He's a coach for the situation, in that he'll be the quiet guy talking to you on the sideline at times, but then if he sees it that he needs to get in your face, he absolutely will.
Away from the end line. Get up to the middle.
Name's Tanner Canego. I'm a senior goalie and the president of the team. Right now we're 5-2, ranked 6th in the nation. Just coming off a rough loss that we all would say we should have won. It was a tough one.
Get in, shoot in. Zach, you're go. Save. Tanner.
Tanner Nago, very calm demeanor, which is nice for a goalie. Kind of keeps our defense at ease. Knows when to get on people, but also knows to keep a nice steady presence back there, and that's huge.
Even though these shots are coming at you at 100 miles an hour, you just got to trust in yourself that you're going to get it.
And the way you get it is by not freaking out. You got to play the position true, you got to do it correctly.
My mom, bless her heart, she looks at a goalie like a kicker, you know, on football.
Good job, D.
So much pressure, and if that one thing doesn't work well, then everyone's looking right at you and saying it's your fault. And sometimes a slide wasn't made. A lot of times it's our fault. Guy's right on the crease and he rips one on him. I mean, I can't expect anyone to say that, really.
It's a lot of pressure, but I think the way to be a good goalie is you got to learn to love the pressure. It's a huge risk-reward position. After practices, after games, you get some nasty welts, a bunch of bruises. I've had some shin problems. So you take it with the position, you wear it with some goalie pride.
Here we go, offense through GLE, full speed.
We just, want to continue to get better every day. They need to put the work in if they want to see the results. Passing and catching, ground balls, communicating.
Defense up. GLE and back.
This was a go hard day, a stick skills day. These are days that are tough as you go through them, but once you're done, you feel a lot better about yourself, a lot better about yourself as a player.
It's been a long time coming, but I'm ready.
Starting in goal for your Laxcats, number 23, Tanner Canego.
We don't need any underhand, behind the back, low-to-low, dumb stuff. If the opportunity presents itself, hey, rip it, bury it, and we'll get a goal. If they make a save, don't pout, get back, run a Peter ride or press ride, and we'll be good to go. All right, man, on three. 1, 2, 3.
I love the competitiveness of it, and I guess you could say that with any sport, but day in, day out, every shot, I mean, it's that one-on-one competition, that battle.
A very fast-paced, free-flowing sport. Basketball, hockey, and soccer combined. A lot of motion offense, a lot of team defense on defense, a lot of transition opportunities.
Well, it's so fast. People just don't stop because the game doesn't stop.
So tired.
You got to be able to hustle your butt off no matter what.
It's over, Johnny. Let's go.
And obviously winning. I mean, when you win, it's that much more rewarding.
You don't like it when I show off. You always tell me that I have to stop.
Watching the sport grow younger-wise has been awesome. People are starting to go back East Coast now from the West. They're starting to pick up on West Coast talent. Really, it's got nowhere to go but up.
You look at the participation in California, Colorado, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, Seattle, Oregon. It's just off the charts. You're only going to see it get better over the next 2-3 years. It's definitely not just a niche sport in the Northeast anymore.
Boys, good job. Hey, be smart tonight. Look out for our teammates. Check your emails for tomorrow's schedule. Good job today, boys. Cats on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes!
Muralist, painter, sculptor, and installation artist Kenny Scharf is best known for his fantastical large-scale paintings of anthropomorphic animals and imagined creatures. His work has been exhibited at the Whitney Museum Biennale, the Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles, and currently at New York's Nassau County Museum of Art. Scharf has an ongoing project entitled Car Bombs, which he describes as improving America's and the world's roadways one car at a time. A few months back, he stopped in Tucson where he transformed cars into works of art.
Well, we've got Kenny Scharf, a world-famous artist, doing some car bombs.
Well, it just started on its own. Somebody pulled up and said, hey, can you paint on my car? Okay. I painted on her car, put it on Instagram, and it just kept snowballing. I've done almost 200 cars already.
I had my truck car bombed by Kenny a couple years ago. And I've been driving my truck around. All of a sudden there was a weekend where I'm like, hey Kenny, can you do it? And he's like, yeah, I can do it. So we just sort of put it together within like 3 or 4 days and we got it happening.
I was appraised for the fact that he was painting cars, and it's such an outrageous idea.
Okay, 1, 2. I don't charge. I get asked to do them for auctions, and it's like, well, I know I don't want to do it for auction because that means someone's paying for it. I don't want money attached to it.
All of this here brings back like riding the subway trains with like every inch covered with like spray paint, and I kind of got a New York recall from his work.
He's like done big stuff, and he's you know of that New York 70s, 80s Keith Haring, Jean-Michel Basquiat crew. I mean, it's like significant history and really amazing artist.
I was thinking lime green. Do you like that?
I'm happy with anything you want to do.
You like that?
Yeah.
Do you want like happy, or do you want?
I like angry. Your angry teeth. Your angry teeth.
Get out of my way. Definitely, my themes have been the same since I was a little kid. Yeah.
It's my last car I ever want to have. I'm not a car person. I'm more of a motorcycle person. This gives me a little more mojo. I got it. Got the mojo working. I said to my friend, they said, well, I guess you like to stand out. I said, well, you know, it doesn't really hurt to stand out for me because I'm not robbing banks. Then no one's chasing me.
People always look and they're always like, what the heck is that? I'll get a lot of head turning, but the best thing about it for me is I can find it in a parking lot and I don't have a little clicker while I'm beeping it, you know. So there it is.
Doing the spray painting and the murals is very gestural. You move your whole body. You have to make a movement from start to finish. If you waver, it looks bad. So it is very much a physical thing. It's almost like dance. That's one of the reasons why I really like to have music going on. It helps me into the rhythm movement.
His thing is fun. His thing is involving people versus, you know, controversy. You know, and it's pretty amazing.
Boy, he's doing a great thing. I said angry. Oh my God.
I believe in art for art, and I believe that I would like people to look at art as something really worthy to care about, whether it's worth money or not. Because it seems like people put the value of the art these days towards how much it costs. So as an artist, I find that kind of demeaning, and I'm working against that. I want to bring art for art. I'm not against art for money. That is how I make my money. But I just want the focus to be on art and not the focus to be on money. Hit the road, Jack. Love it.
A lot of funky downtowners are going to have funky downtown brothers and sisters to my truck, so I'm pretty happy about it.
And the modern world is so conjoined that we're not a backwater. There is no backwater anymore. We're as modern as anywhere else. Yeah, to have Kenny here to me is a sign of like his majestic generosity to come and do this, but also that Tucson is just an unbearably cool place.
Goodbye! We'll be watching for you on the road.
Tucson's cool. There's a lot of cool people. There seems a good vibe going on here. I love it here. It's beautiful. I love nature. I love the desert. And I'm so into the saguaros. They're incredible.
But it's a small town with a funky sort of feel where everyone feels comfortable being here, and you never know who you're sitting at the bar with. You're a low life in high heels, you know what I mean?
Thank you for joining us here on Arizona Illustrated. Next week, a young man strives to make a difference by helping us accept our differences. Meet the Rosanos, a family for whom creativity is a way of life, and a friendship that led to bees in the backyard. I'm Tom McNamara. See you next week.